Hello and welcome to Su Casa, Su Castillo Live. Today, like I promised, we're going to have a guest and we're going to be elaborating on credit, like I mentioned in the previous show. I am Ariana C.P. Hunter, broker for Su Casa, Su Castillo, and today my guest is Fabiana Lemos with Viva for Valentina. She had worked with me for many years and now she branched on her own doing the credit portion. And without further delay, we're going to get started.
Hi, you guys. Thank you so much for having me at Su Casa Castillo. I'm with Viva with Valentina. Like she mentioned before, I have trained under her. She's a wonderful broker, taught me so much. And since then, I've been able to continue learning and continue to grow my knowledge. But what I focus on now is credit and why credit is so important. But basically what we're going to talk about today is why bad credit is not forever.
And why she got started doing that, because she was doing the real estate portion and she encountered the many problems that we have mentioned in previous videos that affect your credit is the reason that she decided to go full-time.
So yes, as she mentioned before, I was in the real estate business for quite some time, but what I kept running into was customers whose credit wasn't ready. They couldn't qualify because they had made, mistakes that a lot of people made, very common mistakes, took out cell phones, broke a lease, had a car repossession. So many things that so many people go through in their daily lives that affect their credit. And so basically, like we said, bad credit is only for a season. So you've made the mistake, you ruined your credit, and now what? What do you do? So what do? You basically, the number one thing I suggest and we suggest is you have to look at it. You have to look at your credit because you may be afraid that it's so horrible, so terrible, and you think the hobos have better credit than you, but that's actually maybe not be true. You just have to take a look at it. So number one thing is acknowledgement. Acknowledge what's on there. Once you've taken a look, there might be things that may not even pertain to you. If you have a very common name, someone might have just put the first Perez or the first Martinez or the first Johnson that they see and put it on the credit, and it doesn't matter. And it might not even be you. It might be another Johnson, another Perez, another Martinez, whatever that it pertains to, but because that's your last name or you have a very common name, it gets applied to your credit, and now it's affecting you. So things like that.
Yes, what I wanted to elaborate, most people think that credit is stagnated, but it's actually alive. When people pull your credit, is in that moment, what it reflects that moment in time. So fixing it and ruining it has the same effect. You could ruin it within 30 days, and you could also fix something within 30 days. That fix it, patch it, or alter it in a good way, because that's what we're about. If you already have done it, you have to own it up. And
yes, so credit, like she mentioned, is not like you fix it and it's fixed and that's it. Credit is alive. Credit is ongoing. Just like you're living, your credit's living. Your credit's living with you. You're in your 20s, your credit's in your 20s. You're in your 30s, your credit's in your 30s. It follows you forever and ever. So that's one thing you need to acknowledge. So once you've acknowledged, then you need to come up with a game plan. And this is where we come in. We go ahead and get you started on the process of not repair, because we don't repair. We patch it up, we fix it to a point where it's healthy again. A healthy credit score is what you need to continuously live your life, because like we said, it's alive, it's moving, it's growing, just like you are.
And not only with us, but with any credit company, you have to be careful who touches your credit, because that professional that you have brings their previous experience with them. And that makes a whole difference, because you could have someone who just learned how to do, it's not just writing a letter to a bureau, it's not just that. It's if people who already come with better backgrounds in the sense that they have hands-on, people who have done credit issuing, credit cards, cars, automobiles, people who have done collection, anything that encounters credit, people learn how credit is so important. Be hands-on. So you just don't want just anyone touching your credit, because it is like what we call waking up a sleeping giant.
Yes, the sleeping giant, which is your creditors, your lien holders, those people who call you wanting their money. That's them. That's the green giant. a great
Yeah.
giant.
If they forgot about you, you just call them up and
You just
wake them up.
So now they're going to come looking for you. But that's not the problem. Like we said, the first thing is to acknowledge. The second thing is to get a game plan. And like we mentioned, it's not just myself or herself or anyone who works on your credit. It's actually the person that you pick. And the reason why it's so important, who is it that you're picking, and to do your research on them, is that many people will promise you, oh, I can repair your credit. I can give you an 800. You can buy this house and buy this and that. And the truth is that they're not miracle workers. They are not going to give you a newborn's credit, because that's not going to happen. But what they're going to, a good credit repair
We'll teach you how to manage
it for life.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it's an ongoing process, the learning process, something that you have to continue forever, not just for that phase. So what we cover is, like I said, we'll acknowledge what you need to do. Then we'll go ahead and say, what is it that you want to accomplish? What is the goal? What is it that we're trying to fix the credit for? Is it to buy a house? Is it to rent? Is it to get a car? Is it to just have better overall credit, so that, you know, in your daily life, small things that you may want to get, such as furniture, phones, that kind of thing, you know, you're not paying triple double things for that. So that's the second thing. Third thing that we look at is, okay, what is the ultimate goal?
Well, and also maybe you should tell them how long does it last? How long is the process?
Okay, so basically what we do is about 3 months. It's a 3-month process, and the reason for that is because it takes that long to reflect. Most people wouldn't know, but not everybody knows. How is credit reported? Credit is reported every 30 days. Every 30 days, you make a payment on your account, and then from that time, 30 days later, it gets applied to the your credit report.
The bureau.
The bureaus get it reported. So you need to know when is your due dates, things like that, so you know when is it going to reflect on your credit report. But that's something that I myself or any agent should be able to tell you and explain to you and help you understand how that works. But basically, back to the 3-month period, like I said, what will happen is we'll go ahead and select what items we need to work on. We're going to go ahead and start the process of working on them. So the first month is really looking at it, addressing it. The second month is to see that they have received our contact, see that, you know, okay, is this something we can take off? Is this legitimate? Is this something that is actually applied to me? Is it old? Should have been off already? Those kind of things, and see, then they'll get reviewed. And then the third month, you should actually start seeing the improvement already made on there. If it did fall under any of those categories, and start seeing that it reflects in that third month.
Yes, and what I wanted to mention is you could start patching it. It's nothing is less than 30 days, because if you're working with the bureau, they work via mail, and it takes a long time. That's the best way, and it's still the most efficient way. So we have to wait for a response for them before we can move any further. You cannot handle all the issues in one single month. That's why it's a process. For the first 3 or 4 months, depending upon your history, it is disputing it. Let's look at it. Let's see if it's yours. Removing it. And after that is nursing your credit, getting your credit, helping you manage credit. Like I mentioned in previous videos, that most people don't know that it takes about 3 attempts for people to buy a home. Mostly, not everybody comes with their credit ready to purchase. It is a process. Mostly, honestly, it takes a year. Depends where you start. But if it takes about a year. I would say yes.
About a year. And that's, you know, with all things considered, like we said, it's a living thing. It didn't take you 30 days to destroy that credit. So it's not going to take you 30 days to build it again. You know, think about it. How long did it take you to accumulate all these things on there? How long did it take you to have those process? In the same way that it got to that point is the same time, and you have to be patient. I'm not saying, you know, you have to be proactive, but you also have to have patience to see it through. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be on top of it, or that you shouldn't, you know, be like, hey, I expect results. Do have a positive attitude. That's one thing.
You have to be optimistic.
You have to be optimistic. But the second thing is you have to be realistic and have a realistic approach and understand these were mistakes that were made. This is how we're going to fix them, and follow the process, because not only is it's not only the person who's repairing your credit, it takes your part too, because it's your credit at the end of the day. They go away, and your credit continues to live with you.
Yes, and at the moment you look at it, oh, it's disgusting. I know we feel sick, right? When you first, even us,
even my own self.
When you look at your stuff, you're like, oh my God, I know what's in there. But you know what? It's just everything goes away. It's like that feeling that you have, that is the scary feeling of looking at it, will go away once you do it once. You know, you'll get used to, get acquainted with your credit and walk along with it, make it your frenemy.
Yeah,
sorry,
because that's what it is.
Frenemy.
It's yours. And you have to nurture it, and like we said. And then the other thing too that we teach, not only do we get you to a place where it's at a healthy place, but also things that affect it, like paying your bills, how to manage your bills, how to get a good system going on paying your bills. And we can help you with that as well. We have a small course on that where basically you bring us all your monthly bills and we get you set up in a way that will help you according to the way you get paid, according to your lifestyle, things like that.
The real
things, not just tips or advice, but that apply to you directly, your specific issue, your specific problem, your specific pay, your specific, because
goals.
It's about you, because your goals. Now you could Google information, you could YouTube information, like we said. And we're not against YouTube videos, because that's what we're here to do. But sometimes you need specific information for you, and that's why you need to speak to a specialist in regards to yourself, either herself or myself. But
we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have to be monitoring our time. But what I want you to remember is what we went over today. So it does not last forever. It is a living, it's a living system. Our credit live with us. So we will set it up for the time that you will need it, for the specific item you want to purchase. Because most people come to us when they want to purchase something, mostly a house. But if you want to buy a car, or if there's something that you want to buy, you will have to prep yourself before you touch it. It's important who you go to, because of their background will affect your credit, and will just stir it up if they don't know what they're doing. And like I said, it's based on a background of the person, time and patience, participation in your end, in their end. And for next time in Su Casa, Su Castillo Live, we're going to be elaborating a little further on credit. But for now, that's all we got for you today. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Thank you for Fabi for joining us. And you will see her in Viva Valentina, vivavalentina.com. Thank you so much. Until next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.